So, how does the school IP, college IP support developing a coaching culture? Well, we're going to have a look at the key area of how progress can be recorded using interim reviews and check-ins. So it's probably at the time of the year where lots of schools and colleges are conducting interim reviews. So this can be used for the midterm PM review, but also it can be used for any conversation, and we highly recommend that it's used for coaching and mentoring conversations to record those and gain an overview of progress. So we'll have a look at that in more depth. And then the areas that we're going to touch on that also support a coaching culture is the use of forms and self-reflection forms, the use of the collaborator module, the blog in terms of showing discussions and sharing, areas for development, and the video annotation tool. So we're just going to touch on some of those areas. So I'm just going to hop out here, and I'm logged in. I'm logged in as Jessica. Jessica's a teacher, and she's going to just go to my portfolio. So I'm logged in as a teacher. Sometimes I'm logged in as Jessica's line manager at others. So here we are, logged in as Jessica. Jessica can see her portfolio, as can her line manager, and as can her coach see some of it. So first area, interim reviews. So you can see here that a few meetings have taken place over the year. Some are called 10-minute check-ins and some are called spring reviews. Now, this is an area, like I've said, it is where you can record a conversation and you can record a snapshot of all of this portfolio data on that date. So it's really good for tracking progress. In this use of it, we've called it 10-minute check-ins. This is where you just choose one focus, make a note of it there. So this one is for objectives only. I'll make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and literally we'll jump straight into there. So this conversation was just about reviewing the objectives, and the line manager could have added some comments in there and changed the status there. Now, although obviously the rest of it could have been reviewed in this 10-minute check-in, that wasn't the focus of this conversation. Finally, the appraiser could have written their own comments and the appraisee written theirs and saved that. So the second example is the mid-year performance management review. That's going to be in more depth. Okay, so we'd expect to see more information here because we're going to be reviewing all of these areas for her midterm review. Reviewing objectives, monitoring, standards, areas for development, etc. So how would you do that? Well, I would have to be logged in as the line manager. So this is where I'm switching screens. Or the coach. So I'm going to select Jessica from my staff list. If you're set up as a coach, if you're set up as a line manager, you'll be able to see that. Let's say I've got Jessica sitting in front of me for our coach mentor review. So go to interim. I'm going to go to what next? Add an interim. I'm going to call it April Coach Mentor Review. Okay. So I could put some details there if I wished. I can put some links in there, images, a video even if I wished. Don't need to make any further notes because I'm going to go straight in to review the coaching and mentoring objective. So let's say that's objective number 1, relates specifically to coaching and mentoring. I could add my notes there and change the status of that as I see fit. So let's say that Jessica has met that coaching and mentoring objective. I could then review any coaching and mentoring monitoring, any standards, and I can change the rating of those standards depending on our discussion. Any areas for development that have been set for coaching and mentoring. And we'll have a look at all of these in detail in a moment, how to set those. Any CPD, appraisers' final comments about the coaching and mentoring that's taken place. I'd pass my keyboard over. Jessica would also write her notes. And then we would agree that conversation. I'll put my password in, pass the keyboard over. And off we go. There is that snapshot of where we were at that period of time in the portfolio. And it's as quick and easy as that. You don't have to review every element. You can just do a focused element, as we've seen there. So we've seen what we can review in an interim. And we would recommend using that area to record those conversations. They can't now be amended. So if I just refresh from Jessica's portfolio, you can see that as soon as the line manager has saved that, it obviously also gives Jessica input there. She can read that at any time, but as you would expect, she can't edit any of those areas, but she can read them. Okay, so that's a record for everybody.